Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at using Illustrator, so Adobe Illustrator, and using a laser cutter to make some cardboard paper planes. That doesn't make sense. Cardboard planes, I guess. And it's just to give you guys some skills in how to use the laser cutter as well as how to use Illustrator. So what we're going to be doing, we don't want you guys to be making a too massive a plane, so we're not cutting them out for days. So we're going to go to File and New. And now, as you can tell, I've already had a practice because we've got some different measurements in there. So I want you to make your width and height 200 millimeters. That's important there. And we'll call this cardboard plane. And we'll go OK. So now this section here is 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters. And we know that because we just did it. And so that has to be 100% correct. Now what I could do, I could use, say, the line tool. And the pen tool, and I could go around and draw a plane. Alright, that's not a very good plane, obviously. But what I'm going to do, because I want to make this a little bit more accurate and a little bit better, what I can just do is I can go to File, Place, and I've got here a plane that I made earlier. Not really. It's a plane that I found on the internet. So it's really easy to find these things on the internet. Making sure I swap back to my selection tool so I can make this smaller. Now, the important thing on this or on Photoshop is you hold Shift when you make things smaller. And now, as you see there, it stayed in the right proportions, and that's what it does. So if I don't hold Shift and I move it, you can see that it makes it squish or too big. All right. Whereas if I hold Shift while I do it, doesn't matter if I do it quick or slow, it keeps it all in the right proportions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line this up. Now I want this to be 200 millimeters across, and the easiest reference for me to be able to do that is if I hold Shift down and I bring this out to the edge here, and you see that's quite a tall plane. And so what I can do is select this edge and I'll make it 200 by 50. That'll work. So I'm going to make it 200 by 50, so it's going to be a little bit more sleek. And that's the thing, like, you can get photos from the internet and then make them do whatever you want them to do. So I've got that there for me to trace around. So what I'm going to be using is over here, if I left click and hold it down, it brings up a few different options for me in the line tool. So I can do arc tool. If I then hold control and press plus and minus, it zooms them in. You might want to zoom in a bit when you start doing this, but if I go like this and I click and hold it down, I can make the arc go how I want it to on my plane. And it's quite a funny tool. I've found that sometimes this arc tool works really, really well, and other times it doesn't. See how the end of it there is kind of going a little bit funny over here, which because of what I'm doing with it, I'm okay with that, but other people might, well, I know lots of people like to get things 100. You see there, I wanted that to arc down, and it arcs the wrong way. So that's annoying, obviously. So I can undo that arc, and then down the bottom here, if I try to go, you can see it arcs the other way. I don't know why it does that. I'm sure there's something I'm doing wrong, but I can left click, and maybe if I go fill arc, what if I go like that? Yeah, see, now it's going the other way. So now if I hold this down and pull it across, I'm getting a nice arc. And so I'm going to have to come across a little bit, so I can do this last bit here. One last, oh, actually I've got a few more arcs to do, don't I? So there. What I actually might suggest though, like you can see here that if I control plus a couple more times, a little bit jagged there. I'm not really happy with that, if I'm honest. So what I might actually do is get rid of them, and I might do it all as one nice big line. Awesome, I'm really happy with that. Now if I go back up to the top, because that last bit's a little bit tricky and quite a few different arcs and stuff in there, I'm probably going to be back over here first. Come down here, not heaps happy with that. It's not going the right way, so what we might do is just simply left click there. If I left click on the end, that means it's going to anchor from there as well. Might try making it a little bit less. Cool. So now let's try doing an arc. Not bad at all. Cool. Actually, this last bit, what I might do is show you a different tool. So I could keep using that and having a play around with that and changing the different values, but now we've also got the pen tool here that I can use, and that's simply left clicking on the one point, left click on the other point, and it's making my sections there, as you can see. So we'll get these last bits done. Got to go across a little bit. Now, one thing is as well, when we're using these different things on the Illustrator here, we need to think about doing a different, sorry, making a different gaps for our cardboard to fit in. So I could make this go all the way up, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is go to about there. That's probably a decent section. And now I need to make a space for my cardboard insert. So what we're going to be doing, as you can see here with this one, the cardboard just slides through the body there for the plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some rectangles. I'll make 2 of these rectangles. So this is going to be the back fin, and I want the width of this to be, so probably 25mm would be a good length. Whoa, sorry, I just pressed the wrong thing then. So 25mm would be good. Press tab to swap down to the bottom one, and about 4mm higher. So when I click that, you can see there that's quite a reasonable kind of size. So if I go back to my selection tool up there in the top left, I can move this over here, and you can see that's going to be a nice place for the cardboard. Actually, I disagree with myself there. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put this, I might position this first. This will make more sense in my mind. So I'll position that down there, and then what I'm going to do, I actually might come over here and make my other one at the same time for the wing, and I'll probably make the width for this one 50, so it's going to be quite big, which is fine. So, because it's up to me, so I don't want you guys to think you have to make it exactly like the ones you're seeing on the internet. So there's one there, and come back over here. So now the issue though with this rectangle is, there's probably a way to do it, but I haven't found an easy way to just trim out that section of the rectangle. It likes to keep the rectangle all as one thing. So what I actually like to do is, so using my arc, so press left clicking and holding, coming up to there, that's cool. And then I'll go back to my pen tool, and I'll actually trace around that rectangle and then go straight up. Alright, now right click, not right click, click on the selection tool, and now delete that one, and you can see there I can now slide the back tail in easily, and that's all fine. And then just to quickly finish this one off, I'm going to go down here, done. Alright, and I'm actually pretty happy with that. I keep thinking this is Inventor and trying to right click to go OK and say that I'm happy with it. So now what I can do is click over here, press delete, and it'll get rid of my image behind. If I control minus a couple times, you can see that's pretty nice there. So I've got where my wing's going to go, I've got where my tail fin's going to go, I've got my upper tail fin there as well, so that looks fine. The last thing I've got to do, so trying to fit it, so I've actually got quite a bit of space left on this sheet, okay, but you guys are going to try not to waste as much stuff as you can. So in this area here and over here, I'm actually going to try to fit my wing and my tail, which would be pretty tough. So what I'm actually going to do is highlight that, and can I move that over? I don't know if it's going to let me. So now we'll try to make the tail over this side and the wing over here, but I do actually want the wing to be, so if I left click, so what I did then was selected rectangle, and then I just left clicked, so now I've got my option to make my rectangle whatever size I want it to be, and to fit inside the wing, so I'm going to do the big one first. So I'm going to make the wing section first and make it 50mm wide, and then the height I'm going to make, so the width I'm going to make 200, that was almost silly, and then the height I'm going to make 50. Okay. So you see that's quite large. And what I'm going to do now is use the selection tool to move that over. And as you can see there, that's ginormous. It's a really big wing. But now what it's done though, it's actually given me an avenue to now draw inside of this and make it the right size. So I can use, say, my arc tool. Let's set to the wrong direction. So if I click there, May go back that way. And I can go like that. I can go like... Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. And then the last thing I have to do is, using the pen tool, we'll join these arcs together. That's cool. Join that one and that one. And so we've done that again. And I've just done that again. So clicking on the selection tool, I can select that and delete it. So now I've just got my wing there that looks rather large. But it is only 50mm from there to there, so that's done. And the wing's actually bigger than the plane, so hopefully we get some decent uplift from it. I really don't mind that. This is just a test and for me to have a bit of fun. So overall, that's not too bad. And then the last thing I want to do is make a little back fin. So same kind of thing. I'm going to make my rectangle first. Click over here. Height, width. So width is definitely not going to be 200 on that. It might be 100. Okay. And then we've got that one over here. Come on. There we go. And you've actually got to select the edge to move that. So same thing though. So I like them to be the same. And so I'm going to use my arc tool. That's fine. Alright. That's not great. I'm not happy with that. Oh, so the difference between these tools up here, so I should probably cover that. You've got the selection tool and then you've got your direct selection tool, so where I can actually grab the end and move it a little bit. But it's not moving how I like it to. Normally it moves independently of itself. So what I might do, go like that. And now I'm pretty happy with that. They look pretty similar. And then coming back to the pen tool, just like we did last time, clicking between there. And they're joined up now. And that one. And that one, now they're joined up. I can go back to the selection tool, click on the outside edge of my rectangle, press delete, and I've got my back wing as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So last thing I have to do is actually go to Object, Expand, okay, and that just makes more points on it. So when we laser cut this, it's got different selections and different points that it likes to choose. So what I've done there is make more to make it a little bit more accurate. And now what I'm going to do is go File, Save As. And then we need to save it as a SVG file. So going down to SVG, and then going Save. Okay. So now next what you're going to see is the laser cutter cutting, and hopefully this turns out okay. And so here we are cutting out our cardboard I was going to say cardboard paper plane again, but yeah, cardboard plane. Hopefully you can see there, it's just doing the back section. Cool. And here we are, a few moments later, with the finished product. So we'll take that one apart and see if we can fit it together. Made in flight ×2, not really.
Ready? Oh, Mr. K!
The nail in the nose is all you needed.
That flies pretty well. It does.
God, I'm good.